What about you, Prof. Sabu? So, what is, from your perspective, the important role of association in higher learning education?
Thank you very much. I think I agree with Tatsuro Tanoika. I think he's rightly pointed out that some of the points that which need to be addressed with the policy maker, especially a lot of cases we found that policy makers are not taking the proper initiative. So from the association, if we can represent properly, I think it will be easier for grab the opportunity and convince them in the professionalism. And also, you know that as last 3 days we are experiencing that a lot of the policy, a lot of this disruption is coming, technological change is coming. So what happened to reach in a unique proposition, association can play a vital role. If we are seeing this today's workshop or seminar, what we are seeing, IAUP with the help of INTI University organizing this conference, the regional conference in Malaysia. So IAUP is an association which is representing to the whole world. So what happened? The confidence level is very high. When association is represented, so other people is usually they are feeling confident that someone is already playing a good role, and definitely all association has their own rules and regulations. So based on these rules and regulations, the leadership also secretary every 2 years. In some cases, IAUP cases is every 3 years. So what happened? The association is one of the backbone of the platform of the multiple university or higher education institute. And I hope that not only this IAUP, UAP, and even the I myself is also representing of the Association of Private University in Bangladesh as the president. So what happened when I took over the chart, I found that the lot of the discrepancies going on. Policy makers do not realize that what exactly problem we are facing. So we already invited all of our stakeholders, especially all of the members, and 2 days we will discuss what problem they are facing. And you know that then we send it to the regulatory authority. So regulatory authority also making some changes. So they send us some draft. So that draft we already disseminated to all of the members to get their feedback. So now we see the 170 private universities in Bangladesh. So what happened? Who will organize is all of their recommendation? It's the association. So association bring all of their recommendation and we find out that we should be suitable for the policy maker. So we bring everything in under one table and submit it to the regulatory authority. So what are the regulatory authority? At the same time, we know the regulatory authority also has the linkage with some other agencies. Like if we send it to the University Grants Commission, they also associate with the Higher Education Ministry. So we talk with the Higher Education Minister, and at the same time, you know that chief advisor. Now we have the non-government, we have the interim government, so we don't have the Prime Minister. We have got the chief executive officer, that is a caretaker or chief of the caretaker. So we also send his office to look after about the proposal. So by this, and also we send the all information to the local media to getting their concept. Are we in the right track or not? If we are not in the right track, then definitely they have also the opportunity to let us know which way we should implement or which way we should re-edit or update our policy. And again, you know that one of the key stakeholders is the student, which we forget sometimes. A lot of the regulatory authority, they forget about the student. They never talk with the student. They never ask with the student. But student is our key component because always we are fighting for ranking, reputation, everything. But what is the outcome? The outcome will be reflected by the student. So our association is taking the responsibility to invite the student, and the student also feel confident to talk with the association and inform their some of the observation. And even that, I think 4 months back, we also invited all of the private university teachers association because they are also our speakers. So we also invited all of the private university teacher association, and we asked them, what is your observation about this recommendation done by the private university association? Do you have anything which we need to add or we need to delete? So they also feel confident because so that's why I should say that if we come to Malaysia, there is a government. So there is a government. So that government is also identified for the various portfolio. Like MQA, 15 years back, Dr. Sarkar is already giving a wonderful presentation. So what he is giving the presentation, that means this presentation or this policy, he also get approval from the education ministry. That is why probably he can present to the other university. But keep in mind, if the government is approving, I think he has no authority to inform the other, all of the stakeholders. So that is why association must play a very good role. But again, the association has some limitation also. Association has some limitation in respect of funding, in respect of resources, in respect of the other logistics. Because association is not a commercial entity. An association is running with the member fee. So that is the limitation. And you cannot keep the burden to the member because all members are the same. So suppose if you consider the IAUP, I'm sure that all members are not rich. So few members is feeling problem to keep the money in every year. Some of the amount of money say AUP. I think that's I was the president of the AUP. I'm saying that a lot of the members maybe after 6 years, 4 years, they're not paying the money. So I think that our secretariat is also sending an email, let them inform them, please pay their dues, otherwise it will be tough for us to run the association. So that's also limitation is also another key component which we need to address. I think the government and university, both of them need to work in association, giving them some fund, giving them the proper recognition, so that association can itself stand on their own feet. Because nowadays, if I'm not wrong, I think all of the international associations, even the local associations, do not have the research area. They do not have the large back-end unit resources, which can be the substitute way to give the policy recommendation to the government and also the UNESCO, UN authority, and other bodies, even the ranking authorities. What exactly the ranking authority is doing? They are sending their own way the information, but if they can play also through the association, it can play a very good role. So that is why I should say the association should have the larger role and confidential role.
That is a very interesting point, Prof. You mentioned about the power of the association because the association will get the feedback from its member. I mean, the approach, bringing all the issues on the policy to the government, taking all the feedback from the members and then very strategized in approaching the relevant stakeholders and the buy-in before putting or bring the issues to the government, to influence the policy on that. Very detailed and relevant and very good sharing from. When different countries, they have a different standard, different qualification, quality and acceptance. So this is where, as we know that, and we just mentioned and rightly mentioned by our NQA CEO just now, that one formula fits all is not relevant. So although we can benchmark the best practices of one country in terms of how they implement their micro-credential, but that issue need to harmonize. And association is a very good platform because different countries, they have a different economic background, regulation, values to be addressed before it can be used and implemented at the national level. Thank you very much. And what about your thought on this issue, Prof. Sagu?
Thank you again. Just agreeing with Tatsuru, because he all of the point he also raised it based on his practical experience. And MQA is already in the presentation. It is also very clear. The micro-credential is going to be the one of the key tools, especially the student skill matrix. I think we can develop. So what an association can play a very good role that not only micro-credential, considering the lot of other components, who is the best practices? As you see in your visiting card, you already reflected in that AACSB, you are the certified or you are the accredited. So what happened? It's an indication that what expertise you have. So through this association, if we can disseminate this information to the other stakeholders, if you like to get in the accreditation about this AACSB, so please, this is the University of Association who belongs to this accreditation platform. And again, micro-credential platform also, there is plenty of stakeholders. Like if we consider the AWS, So AWS itself has a lot of micro-credential course, especially they are focusing IT. So if AWS is really recognized by in every country, I think association can play a good role. They can recommend that, considering all of the university recommendation, the AWS these courses can be recognized by the various universities, and there is a lot of other platforms also. So, lot of cases the university, as I talked yesterday in the presentation, our faculty, lot of cases they are always trying to stay in the comfort zone. They don't like to do the more practical experience, what's going on. But of course, there is a 5 to 10% faculty are more aggressive. They are always eager to do some more knowledge, and also they are trying to expand their networking. But 90% faculty are staying in the fixed mindset. They don't have the growth mindset. So what happened? The university, at the end of the day, the university is depriving for getting the right faculty who can educate to the student. So micro-credential course is recognized by the industry. Micro-credential course is recognized by the accreditation body also in various countries like MQA. So association can play a very good role here. The micro-credential course, capstone project, research project, mobility, exchange, faculty exchange, and the faculty development program. These sorts of various way I think association can play a good role, because by this way also association can earn money. I think I myself is also trying to convey the message to my association now, as I am representing now IAUP. I think in the next board meeting I already prepared that how the association should be commercially viable. Because if association is not getting the confidence to the stakeholder or the member, I think why they will pay the money? They also need to feel confident that yes, because association is a platform where you can raise the voice in consolidated way, not in the fragmented way. You see, 6,000 universities, or as Tatsuri mentioned, that 400 private universities in Japan. So 400 private universities, they are raising their demand to the regulatory authority. I think regulatory authority will be tired. Right? But if the consolidated way, the association is represented properly, I'm sure the regulatory authority is bound to follow it. So that is why I should say the micro-credential, other facility, of course, need to implement. And my always suggestion, as I tried in AUAP also while I was president, but few of the implementation already we did it as Anup Swarup is already mentioned, the happy model. This was one of the practices is done by one of the university of our AUAP member. So we already assigned him, why not you develop the whole process and allow us so we can partnership with this university so that we can implement it to the quality assurance, this sorts of facility to the other university. So association should be the backbone, and I'm sure that you are also representing one association. So you will also know better than us also that how association get the confidence. Because few minutes back, Professor Dr. Satar already mentioned that while he was running the university, why the university is already getting the most attention of the student, why double, triple student is coming to joining or taking the admission. Of course, the best practices and the best creating best model already proving. So association also need to prove some of the model, like if any association is confirmed that we are identified talking with the industry, because association will play the role to talk with the industry also will come forward. Because if individual university is taking the responsibility to talk with the industry, some cases industry not feeling confident to come to the forward. But association will play a good role and inviting to the whole of the industry. I'm sure that even that this session, I think in this regional conference, I saw that one of the industry expert in the association who looks after the industry and academia linkers, he is also here. So that is the beauty of the association. So I hope that the association should work with the industry to find out the real effective micro-credential course and will develop it and disseminate it to the members.
Yeah, that is a very interesting point, Prof. And two things here. First, how we can address challenges. And then benchmark best practices. So association play a very important role in harmonizing, because we forget about the close connection among members.
Actually, association will get the value when the member will get the benefit from the association. Because if association is not talking with the member and try to catering their need, then definitely the member will not feel confident to become a part of the association. And at the same time, you know that when member will get a lot of the value addition, a lot of this, their demand. And of course, I always love to say that association need to develop a back-end strong backup office, that is the secretary. That which secretariat should comply the requirements of the member. So member can feel confident because the president, secretary will be coming and going. Say, I'm not of association, I was the president, but now I'm no more. So what happened? But secretariat should be there. So secretariat should be very committed. They should have the specific KPI. They should have some weightage. And I think the president or the board should also measure that what outcomes is coming. Because if they cannot measure the outcome and they cannot represent or spread it to the member, so the member will not feel confident to become the part of the association. So that is why I should say that the of course association should create the value for the member.
Very interesting point, Prof. Like the strength of the secretariat to ensure the continuity, and also the data keeping issues agenda is part of the continuity of the association.
So this leadership program is already designed for the new president and also for the women leadership. Because the education sector, if we go to in every country, we'll find that women is already leading the education sector in all aspects. So that is why IAUP is also considering the women leadership training in every year. And also I think that a lot of cases, that when any new university is coming, they always try to know that what is the prominent university is doing. So the association is also playing a very good role to invite the prominent university to organize some of their good practices, some of their various prospective area to the new university. So where association can play a very good role. At the same time, as Tatsuru is mentioned, every university and every industry, there is some specific model. As he mentioned, the Santander is also playing a very good policy for student bank account, and I found that in Europe, all Europe also they are practicing the same thing. For the student, they have the special package for the student account. So where they are giving some advantage to the student. Because if I'm not wrong, I think everyone will be agree with me. Majority cases, students are not becoming the defaulter. Their percentage is 1% or below 2%. But if you go to the credit card or common, you will find that 5 to 10% is the problem. That is why the credit card interest rate is so high, because they have a lot of risks they are always covered. But the student perspective, I'm sure that if you can make a study, you will find that their failure ratio is very close to the 1%. So these sorts of practices is capacity building also can getting, I think, or nurturing by the association, because association can disseminate this information to the various stakeholders. Again, that plenty of grants is going on, which cannot be possible by the new university. All universities don't have the same capacity to grab the opportunity. So there is a plenty of opportunities. Some of the grants, I know that they are not getting the right candidate or the right university. So these sorts of, I think, how they should get the grant, what capacity or what quality everyone or every university need to develop. I think that association can play these sorts of capacity building. And faculty development also, as I already mentioned, that faculty development need to identify precisely that which university faculty is really good and what is the key component for developing this faculty. So these sorts of, I'm sure that these sorts of, lot of these component we can integrate in the association platform in respect of the capacity building. So the association also getting the confidence by the stakeholder.
Yeah, Prof. So capacity building, leadership, development, learning from the global proven success leader. Yeah? End of our session. Please help me to give a big round of applause to our panelists. Thank you very much and back to you.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Asmawani, for the insightful synthesis, and thank you to all our distinguished panelists for sharing their very good perspectives. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our panel session on the role of associations in global higher education. We hope this discussion has inspired strong collaboration, more effective advocacy, and deeper engagement. Thank you, and I would now like to hand over to Dr. Janelle.
All right, look at me. One, two, three. One, two, three.